Hi, I will be introducing the concept of bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is a formal system of organization developed by sociologist Max Weber. He introduced it to manage large and complex institutions efficiently by using clear rules, a structured hierarchy, and defined role for each member. It is a formal and structured system that rely on clear rules, specific responsibility, and set procedure. In this system, authority flow from the top to the bottom through a clearly defined chain of command. Bureaucracy uses rule and hierarchy for control, meaning that power is distributed based on position within the organization. Authority is not based on personal influence but on one role in the structure which help maintain order, fairness, and stability. Standard procedures are followed throughout the organization to ensure that tasks are carried out consistently. This uniformity promotes fairness and keep operation organized. The overall goal of bureaucracy is to create order, efficiency, and accountability. Even though it may seem rigid, it plays a key role in helping large organizations operate in a consistent and professional manner.
Let's talk about the first principle of bureaucracy. A bureaucracy is founded on the concept of rational legal authority. This means that authority and organization come from a person position, not from their personality or personal connection. Rational legal authority is the kind of power someone has because of their official role or job title in the organization. It's not about who they are as a person, but about the responsibilities and rights attached to their position. In a bureaucracy, hierarchy is structured to meet the needs of the task at hand, not to satisfy personal needs or preference. This ensures that decision and authority are distributed logically and efficiently based on what the organization need to accomplish. Finally, people attitudes and belief don't influence how the bureaucracy operates. The system is designed to function independently of individual opinions, ensuring fairness and consistency in how rules are applied and tasks are complete. In summary, bureaucracy relies on rational legal authority, task-based hierarchy, and impartial operation, making it a predictable and reliable system for organizing large groups and complex tasks. Next, let's discuss Principle 2 of bureaucracy. Organizational roles are held on the basis of technical competence, not because of social status, kinship, or heredity. This means that people are chosen for their skills and qualification, rather than their family background or who they know. Principle 1 and 2 together establish the organizational role as the basic component of an organization structure. In other words, what matters most in a bureaucracy is having the right skill for the job, ensuring that the organization runs efficiently and fairly. Next, let's focus on Principle 3 of bureaucracy. This principle states that a role, task, responsibility, its decision-making authority, and its relationship to other roles in the organization should be clearly specified. In other words, everyone in the organization should know exactly what their duties are, what decision they are allowed to make, and how their role connect to others. When roles are not clearly defined, two main problems can occur. The first is called role conflict. This happens when two or more people have different views of what another person should do. As a result, they may make conflicting demands on that person, leading to confusion and inefficiency. The second problem is role ambiguity. This is the uncertainty that arises when a person task or authority are not clearly defined. When someone doesn't know exactly what they are supposed to do or what decision they can make, it can create stress and reduce productivity. By clearly specifying each role, responsibility, and authority, organization can avoid both role conflict and role ambiguity. This clarity helps everyone work together and more effectively, reduce misunderstanding, and ensure that the organization runs smoothly. In summary, Principle 3 emphasizes the importance of clear roles and responsibility to support efficient and harmonized organizational operation.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Aiman Adhami Azmawi and my metric number is 294376. Today, I will present about principle, which is principle 4, 5 and 6. First, the principle 4, hierarchical supervision. This principle says that every lower office is under the supervision and control of a higher office. In simple terms, it means there's a clear chain of command. Each employee who knows who they report to and who they are responsible for. This helps the organization stay organized and make it easier to monitor performance and make decisions. For example, In a school, students report to teachers, teachers report to principal, and the principal reports to the school board. Principle 5. Use of rule, SOP, and norms. This principle is all about using written rules, standard operating procedures or SOPs, and even unwritten norms to control behavior in an organization. Rules and SOP are formal guidelines that tell people what to do and how to do it. Norms, on the other hand, are more informal, like always being polite to customers or dressing neatly. Together, they reduce confusion, make expectation clear, and help avoid favoritism. And the last one for principle in bureaucracy is principle 6, which is written records. The last principle highlights the importance of putting all decision, rules, and action in writing. This creates an organizational memory. It means there's a writing history of what happened and why. It also promotes transparency and accountability because everything is documented and can be referred back to later. For example, when a company records minutes from a meeting or puts its policies in a handbook, that this is principle in action.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Amirul Hadi bin Bakiruddin. My metric number is 301068. Now, I will be continue on the advantages of bureaucracy, a system that plays a critical role in ensuring structure, efficiency, and accountability in organizations. First, bureaucracy lays out the ground rules for designing an organizational hierarchy. This means it creates a clear structure that defines how people should interact and how decisions are made. It helps organizations run smoothly by reducing confusion and ensuring everyone follows the same process. Second, in a bureaucratic system, each person's role is clearly defined. When roles and responsibilities are spelled out, employees know what's expected of them, making it easier to hold them accountable for their actions and performance. Third, bureaucracy relies on written rules for rewards and punishments. This helps reduce the cost and effort needed to enforce rules and evaluate performance. With clear policies, decisions become fair and consistent, which also helps motivate employees. Fourth, bureaucracy separates the position from the person. This means the role remains the same no matter who fills it. It promotes professionalism, reduces personal bias in decision making, and ensures the organization remains stable even when people change. Last but not least, bureaucracy encourages skill development and succession planning. Employees can develop within a structured environment and the knowledge they gain can be passed on to their successors. This helps maintain efficiency and continuity over time. As the conclusion, bureaucracy provides the framework for a well-organized, accountable, and stable organization, making it a valuable system in both public and private sectors. That's all for my part. Thank you.
Good morning everyone. Today I'll be discussing a critical issue that many organizations face, the problem of bureaucracy. While bureaucracy is meant to create order and consistency, it often leads to several organizational challenges. Let's take a closer look. First point is poor control over hierarchy development. First, one major problem is that managers often fail to properly control the development of the organizational hierarchy. As the organization grows, more layers of management are added without clear planning. This can result in a complex and inefficient structure, making communication and decision making very slow. Point number 2, over-dependent on rules and SOPs. Next, organizational members may start to rely too much on rules and standard operating procedure. Instead of thinking critically, employees may simply follow procedure without question. This kind of behavior can stifle creativity and lead to poor decision making in dynamic situations. Point number 3, lack of responsiveness. Because of this over-reliance, employees can become unresponsive to the needs of customer and other stakeholders. When faced with a new or unique situation, they may stick to rules instead of adapting to what the situation actually requires. This reduces the organization's ability to satisfy its customer and respond to changes. Lastly, reduce innovation and creativity. In a highly bureaucratic environment, innovation often suffers. Employees feel restricted and may avoid taking risks or suggesting improvement. As a result, the organization misses out on new ideas and growth opportunity. That's all from me. Thank you.
To conclude, bureaucracy remains one of the most influential concepts in the organizational structure, especially when it comes to managing large and complex operations. Max Weber model introduced 6 fundamental principles that still guide many institutions today. These include rational legal authority, where power is based on official position rather than personal trait, a strict hierarchical structure, the clearly defined roles and responsibility, and the enforcement of standard rules, procedures, and documentation to ensure consistency. When implemented effectively, bureaucracy brings several advantages. It promotes operational efficiency because everyone follows a standardized process. It also ensures accountability. Employees know exactly what is expected of them and can be evaluated based on written rules. Furthermore, since rules are assigned based on technical skill, not a status or personal tie, it creates a fair system that supports professional development and continuity. However, bureaucracy is not without its flaws. One of the major criticisms is tendency to become rigid. When too much focus is placed on following rules and SOP, organizations may become slow to respond to change, lack innovation, and fail to meet the evolving needs of customer or stakeholder. So, while bureaucracy can provide order and clarity, it should not limit flexibility. A well-functioning organization is one that knows how to balance structure with adaptability, applying rules when necessary, but also being open to improvement and change when needed.